Welcome back to another Liverpool match review where we are going to be talking about Liverpool versus Brentford. I'm going to be giving my breakdown, my analysis, what I saw, some of the great things that came out of both sides, some things that may need to be worked on. But let's dive right into it. The first half was great. I thought this was going to be a stumbling block for Liverpool. I really did. I know Brentford is a very tricky side, and they are almost notorious for getting results out of big teams when it's kind of unexpected. Thomas Frank has been a manager that has been on everybody's lips, I feel like, in the past week, with a little bit of the growing doubts and a little bit of the growing concerns over whether or not Xabi Alonso is actually going to become the Liverpool manager. I know that's like everybody's dream and everyone's ideal, but is that the reality? With Liverpool, a lot of the times you have to live in the realm of reality when you support that team. Do we get the biggest and the best players every time? I mean, when the timing is right, yes, sometimes we do with Alisson and Van Dijk and things like that. But did we get Haaland, which, we had our name in the hat for? Did we get Mbappe? No, we had our name in the hat for him too. So getting the number one manager right now when you have the likes of Real Madrid, who are going to be in need of a new manager, because it's, signs are pointing towards Carlo Ancelotti joining the Brazilian national team. Barcelona is also an option there for Xabi Alonso. I know that's not very plausible with him being an ex-Madridista or still a Madridista. And Bayern Munich, not having a great season against, his Leverkusen side. Does that mean that he goes back to Real Madrid or Bayern Munich before he comes to Liverpool? I don't know. We'll see. Some people may say that, it's a little bit too soon for Xabi to be stepping into the Real Madrid role. But I mean, look at Zidane. That was essentially his first role as a coach, and he stepped in and did great things. But I digress. Let's talk about the match. Jota was immense today. He did absolutely amazing. For the time that he was in, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be out for a prolonged period of time. It looks like the opposing player kind of landed and bent that knee in. And it looks like it could be some sort of ACL, MCL, LCL kind of injury, maybe a sprain. I don't think it's probably something that is tear worthy. I don't know. I haven't really looked at any of the injury updates since the game ended. But let's pray and hope that he stays healthy, because he has been essentially our best player outside of Mohamed Salah since Mohamed Salah has been away, getting goals that we absolutely need. And out of nowhere, a lot of those times, Jota is one of those predatorial type of finishers. And I believe it was Connor Cody who was on a podcast and just mentioned how we totally got away with that purchase of only getting Jota for 30, 40 million. He's like, I've trained with him. He's one of the most powerful runners of the ball that I've ever seen. And this is a guy that was, in the academy when Luis Suarez was at Liverpool and Steven Gerrard was in the twilight of his years. He's seen some great players, right? So saying that, Jota is the most powerful runner that he's ever seen. And I think you can kind of see that when he picks up the ball and he decides he wants to just go forward, he almost just runs through the defense. And there's really nothing that they can do about it. Jota is a gem. If he can stay healthy, I know he's a battler. And I think that's maybe why, he kind of gets stuck in and gets hurt sometimes, is because he is the definition of a warrior and a battler as a forward that is just hard-nosed and a little bit old school. The headers that he gets, right, left foot, can play on any side. He's an indispensable type of player, honestly. Darwin Núñez, I know he was taken off at halftime. I don't know if it was as a precaution or not, but that is not good news. What is good news is that he's on 24 goals and assists, and the Darwin hate has to stop for me. It has to stop. He is by far a top 5 striker in the league, and I'm going to go as far as saying that he is the best striker in the league. Erling Haaland isn't trying to, kind of find his feet and things like that. So I guess my question to you, if you disagree with that statement, is who else? Who else are we putting in that mix that already are on 24 goals and assists for the season? Who else is able to come in and you can see a visible change and a visible effect on their team when they get onto the field? I think Darwin Núñez is probably the only one right now in the league who's actually doing that. I know he's at the butt of a lot of people's jokes, but the numbers don't lie. He's on track to have a 40 goal and assist season this season. He's already at 24. We have plenty of season left. If he can stay fit, and let's hope he is fit, we could be looking at a 40 goal and assist season in his second season for Liverpool. And people call him a shite Andy Carroll. People call him a flop. Flops don't bag 24 goals and assists, let alone be on track for a 40 goal and assist season. He is a special player. And whoever the next manager is that comes in, they have to be excited to be able to get their hands on him and work with him. I think we could literally be working with a generational talent with Darwin Núñez. And I know some of you might be saying, oh, you're going too far. It's a little bit too soon. No, some of the things that he does and the positions that he gets into, because you got to understand, in football, it's hard to get into those positions. It's hard to get into those areas where you can affect the game. And he essentially does that almost every time he goes up the pitch. He's making a run. He's hanging off the edge of the shoulder of the last defender. He's going wide. He's being effective there. He's very careful with his passes. He doesn't give the ball away very often, almost never, if you really think about it. And that's something that I want you guys to kind of pay attention to the next game that he's in. He almost gives the ball away never. And his passing and playmaking is so underrated. He is a very, very good player. And I don't think I've ever seen a player like that in his mold at Liverpool. The closest thing that I could really think of, and it's not really a good comparison, is Harry Kane. Harry Kane doesn't get back and press the way that Darwin does. He's his own thing, really. I don't know. Harry Kane is really good at getting other players involved with assists and things like that. And that's why I bring up that comparison. But when it comes with the pressing, the assist, the goals now that are coming, the finish that he had today, when I saw that chip go into the air, my heart dropped. And then it fell and nestled in the back of the net. Absolutely beautiful. Darwin Núñez is a special player. Keep an eye on him. I think he's going to be doing some special things for Liverpool moving forward and in the future. And I don't think he's going to make me eat my words, is what I want to say. Conor Bradley was solid today. Dare I say he's a prodigy. He's a prodigy player. And to have a player like Trent, who's very unique and hard to replicate and hard to replace on the side, have him out and not miss him is a huge, huge thing. Okay? I don't think you understand. Trent is considered one of the best, if not the best, right back in the world, one of the best players in the world. I don't care who you are. Okay, he has his defensive frailties and stuff like that. You're picking Trent. You're putting Trent in your side, whether you like it or not. There's some haters. I'm going Reece James. I'm not going Reece James. I'm going Trent. Trent's the best right back in the league and is one of the best. If he makes that move in the midfield, he will become one of the best midfielders in the world. If he's not already the best right back to ever play in the Premier League with his stats, if we go stat for stat, there's no argument. There's literally no argument, right? But for Conor to step in, and it almost seemed like Trent who? A little bit, is scary. His ceiling and his potential is through the roof. And I cannot wait to see what he does in his future. And if Alonso is able to get his hands on Conor, oh my gosh. The way that Jeremy Frimpong and Grimaldo play in that Leverkusen side, if he can get his coaching through to Conor, which he's obviously a sponge and so young, we could be looking at one of the most dangerous right wing backs or right wingers in the game. And he's technically good enough, I think, to play an attack. Some of those times he was dropping into midfield, kind of like what Trent does, and giving support into Endo. I like this kid. He's a baller. So we definitely need to keep an eye on him. About Brentford, they played well today in the first 20 minutes. And I think it's one of those cases of great coach, mediocre team. Sadly for Thomas Frank. I think he actually did get the tactics right. I think his players just underperformed. for him today. I think really the only one that he can rely on is Ivan Toney. And to be able to do what he's done with this Brentford side with the talent that he has is actually really impressive. But I don't know if he's ready for the LFC job. And I think one thing that may kind of trip Thomas Frank up in his bid to become the Liverpool manager, because I'm sure he would want that, is that he doesn't have that youth development that FSG really likes, right? That, you know how FSG, they like to save money by bringing players through the youth system or buying players young and cheap and then selling them later, right? Which is kind of FSG's model. He hasn't really done that at Brentford. And you can do that at any level as a coach, right? You can bring young players in through the academy and develop them at any level. It doesn't matter what club that you're at. So I'm not really seeing that. De Zerbi, on the other hand, is one of those guys that does that, right? A lot in a similar situation, tight budget type of club, not, you know, one of the big players, but he's still able to do that. And that's why I think maybe De Zerbi is in a better position for that Liverpool job than Thomas Frank. But I like Thomas Frank a lot. And very unfortunate for him not to get a result out of today, because I think they played well in those first few minutes. But then when Darwin bagged that goal, you could see kind of the morale drop a little bit with his team. But I think he did get it right tactically. But there's only so much you can do as a manager when the personnel can't really keep up with the tactics, if that makes sense, right? The second half, Mo is still him. Mo is still the Egyptian king. He's on 19 goals for this season, being out for essentially a month, almost a month and a half. He's still one of the top scorers in the league. Powerful goal, and well-deserved goal, and tough goal, strong goal. And with an assist, I think his playmaking is very underrated. Laser into Maka's feet, and the touch from Maka to take it around the defender and toe poke that in, thing of beauty. I don't think Maka scores regular goals at this point. Every goal that he scores is a worldie, and that was a worldie. And seeing Maka in that 8 position and him getting comfortable is really exciting. And to speak on that midfield, I saw very promising signs from that Endo, McAllister, Gravenberch trio. Even though Szoboszlai, Trent, these guys are injured, who could play in those midfield roles, and we're dealing with a few injuries, and Jones went out injured as well. I have really high hopes for that trio. Gravenberch looked really good today. Really good. And I don't know if there's other people out there that's singing his praises like I am. Gravenberch looked really good today. And long may it continue. The ball control, the fluidness, the style, the finesse. You think you have him, and then he's like smoke. He's out of your hands and he's gone. We needed that. I think this is the midfield to start for the final against Chelsea. I know a lot of people saying, put Harvey in. I liked how it looked today. And hopefully Klopp did too. But things fell apart a little bit for Frank. And that's unfortunate. And they came together for Liverpool in the end. So in conclusion, really, this is another championship performance for Liverpool. These are games that you could easily trip up on, but these are games you have to perform in. And Liverpool did that today. So I really liked the way that they looked. I loved Conor dropping into midfield. Endo bossed midfield today. And I think him, Gravenberch, McAllister, they controlled that second half. And they essentially created the goals for Salah. I know Salah got the assists and got the goals, but having those three in those midfields and commanding that space, taking the ball back, moving it quickly, getting into the feet of the right person, they produced those goals, which typically hasn't happened at Liverpool in a long time. We haven't had a creative midfield like this in a long time, right? We usually have those hardworking industry type of midfields. Now we have some style and substance in there at the same time. Endo brings that industry. Endo brings that grit. McAllister brings the control and the passing range. And Gravenberch brings that fluidity, that style, the ball control, the ability to work in tight spaces, play little slip balls here and there. It's beautiful. And I hope it continues. And I hope that Klopp sticks with this team and moves forward. If Darwin is injured, I think we'll be okay with Gakpo, Nunez, and Diaz as the front three. They looked good together. So Liverpool are still dangerous, regardless of the injuries. And I'd love to know what you guys think. Who's your starting 11 going into the Chelsea, the FA Cup final this next weekend? Did I miss out on anybody? Who had a good game that I didn't bring up? Who had a bad game that I didn't bring up? Let me know. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.